Greetings. My name is Dave McLellan. I'm on the board of directors of the Performing Arts Center of Metro West in Framingham, Massachusetts. A former faculty member, I taught guitar at PAC for 8 years. I'll be doing a fundraising concert for PAC on August 9th. That's a week from tomorrow, Sunday week. As part of our 50K by Labor Day, that is $50K by Labor Day fundraising campaign over the summer. The concert is intended for the complete benefit of PAC. I don't take a fee for my concert. This is part of my long-standing Concert in Your Living Room initiative. So I'm very excited about this concert next Sunday at 4 p.m. at the Edwards Church in Framingham. Now, in the description of both the YouTube video that you're watching right now or the Facebook Live event that you're watching, in the description you will find a URL where you can buy ticket for the in-person concert or the live stream. We will have an in-person audience and we will supply a live stream. So there are tickets but you can get a ticket for either one. We hope to have many people in the room, but if you can't make it here, if you live somewhere else in the world or you can't get out of the house, at least you can hear the concert live streamed on August 9th. So you can find the URL that will point you to all the details of the concert. And I'll also tell you now that in the description of the YouTube video or the Facebook event, you'll find a program PDF that lists all the pieces being performed next week. And also for today's session, you'll find a PDF that is the poems and the pictures that go along with the piece by Francine Trester that I'll be talking about today. So you're watching, this is episode 4 of my 5 teasers for the concert. They're teasers because we want to whet your appetite and get you into the concert, either in person or live stream. So they're pretty informal. I'm not even wearing concert dress, but I am wearing my Performing Arts Center t-shirt. And who knows what's going to happen. I'm just going to talk about the music and play some of the music. I won't play it all because you have to come to the concert for that. Who knows what's going to happen? My dog might come in looking for a treat, and if he does, I will give it to him. So we'll get started now. The episodes 1, 2, and 3 were about, respectively, the 10 Etudes of Leo Brouwer, which is the first on the program next Sunday, and followed by the Magic Serenade of the American composer Brian Johansson. And then yesterday I gave a teaser on 2 short pieces by 2 different composers, starting the block of music by living women composers on this program. If you heard the stream yesterday, you would have heard about the Mokoro Song of the Water by the South African composer Dr. Avril Kinsey, and also the beautiful little blues lullaby by the Belizean British composer Erlen Wallen. And so today I'm going to talk about and play some pieces of the central piece on the program by Boston's own Francine Trester. Dr. Trester is on the faculty of the Berklee College of Music, and we had been talking for years about a large piece. I had been playing a couple of her smaller pieces. And so last year she came up with a very large piece, a 7-movement suite. You'll hear 4 movements of that suite on August 9th, and I'll talk about the 4 movements that I'm playing today. So what I first want to do is read Dr. Trester's description of the work, and then that'll set the stage. Partita, that is the word party followed by a dash followed by the syllable ta, partita, is a combination of ideas for a large work for guitar that Dave McLellan suggested to me in 2022. One concept was a suite of dances like a Baroque partita, except the dances were to be 20th century popular dance styles. like the swim, the Watusi, and the twist, for example. The other suggestion was a work for voice and guitar with words from a popular children's book about Boston. I used those two suggestions by combining them into the work you are hearing, a kind of parody of the Baroque partita, where each movement is slightly misnamed. The poems are to be read before each movement is played, almost as if to explain what the listener will hear. And the pictures sustain the mood while hearing each movement. And so by poems and pictures, you'll see those if you wish to download the partita insert that's in the description of these streams. So the movements are all misnamed. The prélude replaces the traditional prelude. Allemande à la mode replaces the traditional allemande, a dance in duple meter which contains a double knocking upbeat of 2, sometimes 3/16. Courant events replaces the fast courant, French for running, and expresses the stress of taking in the daily news, where the fast running notes mimic the news ticker tape displayed at the bottom of the TV screen. Sarah's band, taking the place of the sarabande, a slow dance in triple meter with stress on the second beat, shows Sarah, who can't join the marching band because she plays guitar, and makes up her own band. Odette 1 and 2, representing the typically paired movements like minuets or 2 bourrées. The gig laments a musician misunderstanding the word gig for a paid job. So the movements I will talk about and play a little bit of today are the prélude, Courant events, Sarah's band, and gig, corresponding to prelude, courant, sarabande, and gig. So the main point of the prélude is to understand how difficult it is to get started doing something in the traditional suite. The prelude gets everything going, but the prélude in Francine's suite is all about how hard it is to get started. So I'll read her poetry first. And I hope you are looking at the PDF that shows the picture. Actually, I will show the pictures. I'll read the poem first and show you the picture. An ounce of prevention can stifle invention. A well-worn road paved with good intention makes mountains of yesterday's strutting on the stage, gets in the way, raises a maze of questions and queries, hesitating theories, putting into practice, perturbing the faint-hearted. In the end, the hardest part, the getting started. So I'll show you the picture that goes along with this. I'm not sure how well these pictures will be showing in the resulting video, but the picture that goes along with Prélude, you can see is a bit like, quite a lot like, the painting by Salvador Dali called Persistence of Memory, where the distorted clock faces appear and the guitar appears in this one. So that's the Prélude drawing. And so now I'll play a little bit of the Prélude. Prélude is the longest movement of the suite, and I will play some sections of it, but I won't play the whole thing. But I will play enough that you'll get a sense of it, and I'll point out a couple of interesting effects that are kind of fun. Now, here is one of my most favorite effects in the whole work is the imitation of a ticking clock and then the tapping of someone's fingertips on a table as if impatient or unable to continue or to think about something. So here are the ticking clocks. The ticking clock sounds. And then a faster section. Now that's roughly half of the prelude. There's great stuff coming in the prelude, but I would love for you to come to the concert and hear the rest. One of the surprises in this and also in other movements, especially the Courant events, is that some Baroque-like harmonic progressions sort of come out of nowhere and they disappear quickly, but you will recognize some of the progressions. For example, the one in Courant events is almost a quote from the Courant of the first cello suite of Bach. So that's the prelude, and it's, as I said before, it's all about showing how difficult it is to get started. So let's move on to Courant events. I will show the picture. All these pictures are by Francine, by the way. The pictures and poetry are her creations. So Courant events focuses on the stress we experience every day because basically our daily lives are inundated with bad news. And in this picture, I hope you can see our main character is watching the news on TV, and his cat is equally stressed out about what's going on. And in Courant events, the running notes, the fast running figures are intended to imitate the news ticker that appears on the bottom of the screen. And even though I probably won't get to it today, I want to leave it as a surprise. The end of the Courant events is, to me, it's the fellow watching the news getting so distressed that he takes off his shoe. As actually you could see his shoes are already off. He's in stocking feet in that picture. He takes his shoe and throws it at the TV, and it explodes. And that's the end of the Courant events. Here's the point. Running, running, running. There's a drumming, 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 and a fearful dumbing down of thought. Opposing views reduced to bites of sound. A ticking talking meant for shocking. The remedies in stopping. Tune it out. Turn off the news. Okay, I did play the whole thing. It's short, and you can hear the tossing of the shoe at the TV. What's also interesting in this movement is the use of the Bartok pits, the slap pits, not slap pits, but pull. And when we hit the fifth or sixth string, so that's the current events. Next, Sarah's band. I'll show you the picture of Sarah's band first. I had to look at this one to understand it for a while, but you can see Sarah there on the left side holding her guitar. And remember, this is Sarah who wanted to join the marching band, but she played guitar, and you can't march very well with a guitar in the band. But there are there's a marching band there on the lower right, and her own band sitting on the porch of the house in the upper right. And that's addressed in the poem. And I'll leave the picture up while I read the poem. Sarah wanted to join the marching band, but she played acoustic guitar. It wasn't made for marching, and it wouldn't parade very far. So she made her own troupe. Now they play on the stoop. Though quiet, they make quite a sound. So lend them your ear. To hear, please draw near. Come close, one and all, gather round. Now, Sarah's band, it's marked masked marking. That's the tempo or the character marking, masked marching. And it really does have the flavor of a saraband. And I won't play the entire one here. I'll play some of the beginning of it and the end of it, because the end is so important from the point of view of watching the marching band march off into the distance. That's mostly the A section of the saraband. And then there's quite a lot of harmonic movement to remote keys. And then near the end, there's a beautiful sequence, and it leads up to the end of the piece. I'm just going to pick this sequence out of the air. That is not in context of the rest of the music, but starting here until the end. So I've left some stuff out in the middle. You got to come to the concert to hear it all. That's Sarah's band. And finally, gig, which is a replacement of the traditional jig. I'll show you the picture. It's the same guy who's in the current events. At least it's a person wearing the same socks and the striped shirt. So this fellow is a musician, and he gets called for what he thinks is a job. The poetry goes, they asked him, can you play a jig? But he heard, can you play the gig? He asked, what day and what would it pay? And they, continuing, explained this way, a lively piece in compound time? What time? He asked. And dumbfound scratched his head. It wasn't big. He should have jagged. Instead he zigged. And so he never played the jig or gig. So a jig is usually in compound time, which might be 6/8, 3/8, often some kind of time, well, compound time where each beat is divided into 3 subdivisions instead of 2. So very commonly 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. And gig starts out that way. It starts out in 9/8, but its meter shifts to 8/8, 6/8, 5/8. So it's you might start tapping your feet on what you think is the dotted quarter note. Ya ba 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 ba. But then all of a sudden there will be a missing beat, a missing 8th note in a beat in 5/8. What's also musically so interesting about the gig is the placement of duples in the time of 3 notes. So 2 notes played in the time where you'd usually hear 3. Very uncommon, if not ever heard in a traditional jig. But there are quite a few occurrences of duples in this. This one's so short, I guess I'll play the whole thing, the gig. So that's the gig. Those are the 4 movements that I'll be playing on August 9th. I've been playing those 4 movements in this season, the solo concerts in this season. And there are, as you heard when I read Francine's description of the work, 3 movements that are missing: the allemande à la mode, and the paired movements, the 2 odettes. And they're fun, really fun pieces too. But I didn't start learning them until this year, and because I've only been playing the 4 movements: prelude, Corinth events, Sarasband, and gig. I will be adding the other 3 movements, although we won't be the official world premiere of Partita is March 21st, 2027. It will be held at 5 Sparks in Harvard, Massachusetts. So save the date, March 21st. And I will be pairing Partita with the entire First Cello Suite by Bach. The First Cello Suite of Bach is a quintessential Baroque partita, a Baroque suite. It is prelude, allemande, courante, sarabande, 2 minuets, and a gigue. And it's sort of a perfect instructional Baroque suite for anyone who is not familiar with the Baroque suite form. And so the setup is first half Bach First Cello Suite, second half Francine's Partita, a suite for the suite. So that'll be in March of 2027. But what's more important is a week from tomorrow, August 9th, the concert for Performing Arts Center to benefit all the proceeds go to PAC Metro West in Framingham. The concert's at the Edwards Church in Framingham, 39 Edward Street, but all of the details are in the URL that points you to the ticketing page, and you can get an in-person ticket or a live stream ticket there. So this is episode 4 of the 5 teasers. Episode 5 will be on Thursday, August 6th, and I'll be talking about the magnificent Western Vista by the Belarusian American composer Olga Amelkina-Vera. It's a tremendously entertaining work with a great story to tell, and an imitation of a rodeo competition. So I hope you'll join me for the teaser, but more importantly for the concert on August 9th. Thanks for being here. If you heard this live, great. If you're hearing it recorded, that's great too. Thank you very much for being a part of it. See you on August 9th.